Hello guys, back over on YouTube. I've been kind of going back and forth between YouTube and Instagram, trying to build the an audience and send both, either to both platforms. So it's been quite a challenge, and it's been kind of weird promoting myself and, subscribe stuff. And, it's all free. I just want to keep stating that so you guys don't feel like I'm not asking for money or anything. I'm just asking for your advice and opinions on how I could do better or what I'm doing right. So I just sharpen my pencil. So I pushed this a lot further on Instagram. I didn't upload that to YouTube. I don't know why, I just kept it. And I keep that on Instagram, and then this one, so I pushed that further on Instagram, so you can check that out at on my Instagram. I'll put that down in my Instagram handle thing in the the description. So I think it's Art Waken Minds and then Dash Studio, but I'll put it in the description, like I said. Sorry to repeat myself. Alright, so basically, if you guys followed that video, I kind of made this so it's a bit more complex than the last YouTube video. I've definitely made it it's a bit more complex, but still in the simplified stage, I guess you'd say. I've changed over to these are kind of like darker graphite pencils. They're these this is a Staedtler. Yeah, they're called Lumograph or Mars Black. They're just like a darker graphite. You really want to be able to push the I always had a problem with that, like pushing the value range. You can get pretty dark with this stuff. So here's another thing I'm trying out. I never used one of these. I think these are from Derwent or Derwent. I'm not sure how you say their brand. Derwent. They're called like XL graphite. They're like these kind of big blocky graphite, like blocks of almost like charcoal blocks, but they're kind of interesting. I'm just literally just putting this on the paper for the first time, so that's kind of interesting. It's very I was thinking about like toning the paper with this maybe, but I can't really see myself trying to draw with this big block unless it was maybe a huge drawing of a skull, which would be cool to do maybe in the future. But yeah, you'd say it's kind of it's definitely darker, definitely a nice dark black, and then maybe you can go in and I guess go in with this and kind of burnish it down into an even darker value. I like to kind of might be a good idea for right now to actually see how we can kind of push this to a pretty good darkness. I mean, I know in the actual reference that I'm drawing from, like that isn't like dark, like, but I think for just learning sake and teaching sake, I'm gonna push this as kind of dark as I can, kind of not pitch black, but pretty dark, so I can kind of show you like how to kind of really push the values. Plus, if you look at the skull compared to that, that is actually really dark compared to that. So that's another thing you want to keep in mind besides just making the drawing correct is thinking in terms of the values and if they're reading right. That's a thing. I'm not seeing two. I think I have a 2B and this guy right here. I'm gonna, I think, switch to a 4B and these new pencils I'm switching to. I just feel like it's not, I need a softer pencil. You'll notice that, like, 2B sort of like, it's like an average pencil, you know what I mean? It's hard, it's soft, so it's a little in between. Well, I mean, HB is more like that, but 2B is like right there. It's a good pencil, but not for like blocking and like a nice dark value. It's kind of a little, it's too hard. So that's why I'm gonna switch over to this 4B and hopefully I can get some play with this. Get this a little bit better. So yeah, it's still a little bit hard, it seems like. Nah, it's working. So what I'm noticing is, and what you guys have probably been noticing is it's very, drawing's very grainy looking. A lot of texture, which is good if you want to go for that. It's good to play with texture, but I feel like at this point it's sort of a little bit, it's not reading the way I'd want it to read. So what I do to battle that tendency is to, I get these, they're called, they're not a blending stump. Like a lot of people use blending stumps. Let's see if I can get it into the camera. Yeah, right here. So these are like to clean like camera lenses and stuff, I guess, or clean like little tight areas of things. But I use these for blending sticks. I would have to look on Amazon. I forget what these are even called, but they're like these little microfiber brush cleaning things. I wish I had a better word for them, but I don't right now. But I'll try to. I'll look up what they were called and where I got them and stuff. I think I got them on Amazon, I'm pretty sure. But as you can see, I'm just kind of almost painting, like you kind of use it as like a paintbrush. And I don't try to really think of in terms of like, I'm not trying to smooth it out I'm not trying to blend it necessarily, although that's what it looks like. What I'm really trying to do is I'm sort of drawing with it, redefine it, but I'm also like trying to quiet the drawing a bit, soften the drawing a bit, create somewhat of an atmosphere so that the lines around the skull don't show as lines and they're more just like an air around the skull, more of a getting closer to what life is offering us right there. I always want to shoot for what nature is telling me, and there's a lot of softness up there, so I'm trying to basically have that effect. So I try to do this as evenly as possible. So try to get into like a rhythm of like a hatch, like a diagonal hatch. I kind of go with. Don't like go like this and that. Don't try to be so random about it. Try to almost draw like it. Like try to actually, if you're doing this cheekbone area, try to like kind of feel it out. Try not to just be like on autopilot with this, because it can get like really loose and really but we're trying to kind of still be in the realm of drawing, even though we're kind of sort of like mushing it around and it kind of feels messy and you might feel like you're losing the drawing, but this is kind of sort of that stage where you sort of are entering in the more ambiguous part of the drawing or painting, where it's kind of going to get messy a little bit. So you just try your best to get it to kind of unify and soften. And then what you'll see is the next stage I take this into will kind of it's almost like you're losing it and then you're gonna find it again type of thing. So, you know, just understand that it's part of that, you know, it's kind of good. You gotta get messy a little bit, but you're gonna eventually get back to a more crispness. So yeah, that's kind of where so you can see it's very much like this guy right here is carried. There's, I think I did another one that I didn't carry as far. Yeah, so there's that guy that I kind of do any of that too. And you want to experiment, like you can really, I mean, you can do it all without blending anything. You could do a kind of one without any blending utensil. You can just really work on laying down your pencil really close together and keeping your strokes really good. And, or you can do a more cross hatch. You know, it depends on what kind of texture you want. But right now I'm really not focusing on texture as much. I'm talking more want to just keep the drawing as unified and soft and workable. So that's kind of why I do that. You can also use like a paintbrush, but make sure it's a clean paintbrush and you can kind of play with that same effect. So I have this thing I'm going to go, I think I'm going to go back to this the big guy here, the 5.6, I don't even know what this thing's called. It's got a weird name. It's like, it's a lead holder, but it's thicker lead. So it has like a little, it's kind of cool. It has this little cap on the end, and you can sharpen it, or it's got graphite dust in it, which is good to actually keep, and you can use that to tone the paper. I think you might want to try that for the next one, and I might do that for the next one, and I might show like a video of how I tone the paper. I mean, it's pretty, anybody can do it. It's not like I need to even show you, but it's not bad to maybe show that. But yeah, you basically just start with a tone, sort of like this one. This was a white piece of paper and I toned it, and that one turned out pretty cool. And it's a different experience, but it's still the same, same concepts and everything. So I'm just trying to feel this out, just trying to, you'll notice that like now you have this smooth texture, but now you're gonna get this kind of in-between texture where you're gonna have this sort of a grain to it, but you're also gonna have a slight softness from the blended areas that you just blended. So kind of want that in between. You want the soft and you want the hardness. You gotta start thinking about edges and stuff like that. Like, these, where I'm starting to lay down the value here is, I'm trying to really I want that to be like more sharp, more defined on that area. And then I want to start to maybe lose an edge this way, so I might just run, allow that to kind of, you still have a line, or not a line, but a value change. There's two different values, but they're sort of slightly blending into the atmosphere, which is essential for creating depth. So it's a good thing to do. So I do that. And now I'm just gonna start trying to gonna really try to sharpen everything. Well, not everything, but I'm gonna try to find those areas where I can kind of get in there with maybe I'll start go back to my more tighter pencil method with the wooden pencil, just a regular art wood pencil thing. So I'm gonna start with that. You always want to kind of make sure your pencil is sharp, and I mean it's a pretty standard thing that everybody would know, but you want to keep that sharp because it really helps you to define shapes, a lot easier that way. If you have a dull, you don't want to have, you might want a dull pencil for certain techniques, certain areas of the drawing, but for finding for gaining the accuracy, you want a nice sharp point. So you want to make sure you have that going for you. And what I'm noticing is this is definitely not all in shadow. So I'm gonna start maybe I will dab the kneaded eraser to create a sort of maybe a middle value here, not quite light all the way, but sort of a so now you kind of got this little bit of that going on where it's sort of it's a little messy, but you kind of just have to keep gotta keep working on it. You gotta kind of just accept that it's a little messy right now. You're gonna kind of go through that stage of not liking it, not feeling like it's going anywhere. But it's it's a process of just you have to accept that part of it. So what I'm gonna do right now is for these last, I guess it'll be like almost, I want to say like maybe 10-12 minutes, is I'm just gonna go in on this area. I'm not gonna really talk. I'm just gonna try and just draw and have you guys sort of just watch closely, how I'm manipulating the graphite, how, I'm applying everything. And then after that, I will give a little bit of a explanation of what I was doing there. I just want to really just draw and not kind of let the teaching get in the way of what's going on here. I just want you guys to watch. So, all right, I'm gonna go into just the drawing and no talking for right now. Okay. Alright, so I'm just gonna, I don't know if that was 10 or 12 minutes, probably wasn't. Excuse me. But you can see that, well, I started using this guy a little bit. See if you can, it's hard to get this in the camera. Alright, yeah, there it is. So this is like a little, a great little eraser tool. At Dick Blick, I think. I forget what it's called, but it's like this little micro eraser, you know, it's got like it's almost like drawing with an eraser. So I'll use that. From time to time, I will carve away at things like this Super Solarite crest, trying to refine shapes if need be with that. And then I will also use my kneaded eraser, cleaning stuff up like that, pushing shapes around with the kneaded eraser. So there's a lot of correction stuff going on right now. Some stuff was out of place, but now we're sort of honing in the drawing, bringing it more towards more accurate shapes. So you know, don't expect it to be precise right away, because it takes a little while to actually kind of gain the accuracy. So allow for that time for your drawing to kind of like slowly evolve, and expect to make, you know, a good deal of changes in the, you know, the first hour or two of the drawing. Try not to take it so seriously. Just try and experiment a bit, be a little bit more curious of, you know, more open-minded. Don't get so attached to correct, like, for, you know, don't be too attached to it. Just try to have it be a bit more looser, as you can keep it. If you can keep it as loose as possible for those first couple hours of a drawing, then it tends to really help overall. Keeps you more calmer. It doesn't get ahead of you. So that's what I'd say to do, is just try to keep, you know, just slowly, you know, don't change your drawing too much, because you probably have a lot of things right. You don't want to overthink it, you know what I mean? You want to make, you want to be confident in your first decision, you know, because they're probably pretty accurate. Not completely accurate, you know what I mean? You don't want to be too confident about everything you did, but there's a good amount of it's probably generally in the right you know, it's probably about 70-80% accurate, and then you're trying to steer it, you know, more towards 100% if you can get it that way. But you're probably gonna more so, you want, you know, about 80 to 90%, you know, be realistic, because you're never gonna really get 100% accurate. It's gonna have that human element, which is nice to, if you can think of it that way, to think more, you know, to, you know, allow those flaws to just be there. And, you know, in general, if it looks like a skull, it looks pretty close to what's up there, and I think you've done your job. Unless you're trying to, you know, do some kind of hyper realistic thing, which I have various opinions on. I think it's amazing what those artists can do, but I feel like it kind of it just loses something. There's just not that human element problem, and it's just too much close to a photo that it loses it for me. But I mean, I have great respect for them people too. I think they're amazing. It's just not my kind of art. I like stuff to be a little bit more rawer, a little bit more imperfect, as much as I try to make it perfect. So it's kind of a weird situation, I guess. But so yeah, that's my thoughts on that. But as you can see, there's sort of, I'm starting to break down the values into maybe 3, or I mean, well, you can count the white as a value, but I kind of like, you kind of have the light value, which is just white right now, and then in the shadows I would start to look for a way of breaking them down into about 2. If you can get like because you're going to get values such as where I'm at right now, which is like a you're going to have this kind of really kind of darker shadow, and then you're going to get these kind of lighter shadows. They're both in shadow, so you don't want to be too, you don't want to drive them too far away from being not a shadow. You want them to be, there's a light family, and then there's the shadow family, and you want to keep those separated. You want to follow the law of nature. Whatever's in shadow is in shadow, whatever's in light is in light. And there's going to be